Come on. Come on.
Yes, the boys, welcome back to another video. We are currently on the way to Pull. It is going to be a big one. It is going to be a very, very big one. We're feeling good. I had a fantastic push session yesterday, and I've got a new one in. We've got RDL back in today, so I'm going to run you through why you might want to switch around a movement and when we might want to change that, because it's important to know when something's just stalled and needs maybe form resetting, and when you might actually need to change that movement. So that's what we're going to dive into today as well, because I think that is very, very valuable. If I look like I'm at a funky angle, boys, I swear this camera's at a funky angle. But apologies if it is, I think we're all right. But yeah, we're in for Pull. I'm about 10 minutes away from there. The switch is stiff legs out, RDL in. I've had stiff legs in pretty much since I came to this gym. So that has been 6 months, 7 months. So ran them into the ground a little bit. We're gonna have a nice switch with just one set of an RDL today, see how they move, see how we respond, and then we'll get everything else in. I've got a big PR on the extreme row as well in today, boys, but we'll talk about the movement and how you kind of know when to switch things around or when you might need a little bit less volume, that type of jazz. And you can obviously have a look at how to set up a pull day. I'll run you through why we've got everything in that we have, but we're feeling good. I'm gonna get pretty down me. That is called Unicorn Perth. Very weird name for a pre-workout, but it actually tastes like what that would taste of, funnily enough, which is a bit strange. I'm gonna get that down me, boys. It's raining in July, which is great, isn't it? And I'll see you in the gym. Let's get it.
Right, boys, in with lats first. So you'll see I've got 2 foam blocks. I'm going to do these dual arms. So if I don't have these blocks here, I'll be directly under these. So I'm going to get a hell of a lot of elbow flexion. I would much rather sit that little bit further back. What's that going to be? Around 6 inches or so. Sit myself that little bit further back. I can get my lats short, as you'll be able to see, without just getting a ton of elbow flexion and feeling like I'm just yanking that straight down. So it will just bring you away, but you can keep the stability there with those. So that's not taking things too far, boys. That will take you, 5 seconds to get them on there. So with lats, nice and simple what we're thinking about. We want to fully lengthen that lat under the load, and we want to fully shorten that lat. Now, people go wrong here, especially at the top, I find. So they'll either cut that range to just lift more load and just drive that through, or what they'll do is they'll let their whole shoulders just elevate, and they'll shrug up here and lift up, and you'll see their whole top line just lift up and elevate. Now that's not what we want to do. If we get a little bit of protraction to fully lengthen that lat, that's fine. We're in that full stretch. Don't let that shoulder elevate completely and then just shrug down, because if you're doing that, you'll find it very difficult to keep that all on your lats. So just think about fully extending that arm, getting into that full stretch, have a little pause there, and then don't just think about yanking that handle down, think about dragging that upper arm down, contract hard, repeat that. And when you do that, lats will be fried. And that's what you'll see now, boys. We've moved up to 2 plates and 12.5 each side. So this is new load. Top set need at least 6 clean. It might be a mistake, even though it's not warm. I don't know if it's quite jump or whatever, boys, so watch me absolutely sweat my head off now, but let's go, bruv. First set, boys, we set the tone. So that was 8, boys, and you'll see there, on number 6, it slows down. That's where a lot of people pause and then just finish their rep and tell them that's failure. But because I just kept my breathing, got it through, contracted. Same again on the 7th, kept my breathing, got it through, contracted. When you'd usually stop, have that little pause, and then shove that last bit. And then you'll see on number 8, I'm driving. I've genuinely not got any more. And I can just about contract, and that's failure. So the next time, especially with something like back, when that rep stops, don't just stop. Drive through it again. You will get 2-3 more clean reps every set. You just got to flip that mindset. Another thing I see all the time, half your session is most likely back off sets. Say you've got 2 working sets per session. If half of your session is going to be back off sets, make sure the quality of those is the exact same as those first work sets. Yes, you might have a little bit more load, so it's a bit more exciting. But if you're slacking every single back off set, a little bit like you just end that set a bit early, or you don't push it quite as hard, you rush into it, you're missing out on half of that work. So you've got to start locking in. If you're following top set, back off set, intensity stays. The only thing, like I've just done there, is move the load down slightly. Execution intensity, exactly the same as that top set. So for these big sets, if I go in when I'm not composed, if I get too up for it and rush into that, my form is just going to fall to pieces. It's going to feel absolutely ridiculously heavy, just dropping into it. That weight's just going to hit you. Whereas if I actually start this by my hips coming back like they should do, and then drive through that nice and explosively, you are going to be stronger. You're going to get way more out of it. Don't just drop into your presses. Don't just drop into your hip hinges. You will be weaker that way. Trust me. Get up for your set. Focus, lock in on what you're doing, but be composed. Actually think about starting that set with the initial movement that you need to, not just dropping. Because when you drop, using momentum straight away, feels like you're lifting an absolute house. Trust me, control that build up aggression and that focus. Keep composed. Get the best of both worlds that way. Another thing as well, when you've got them sessions and you normally say, oh, you know what, this has happened, I ain't going gym today. Oh, you know what, that's happened, I ain't gonna train today. Those are the sessions that are more valuable than any others. You will get more out of them than any other sessions. The next time you think that, go in and trust me, that's the one thing that will stop you sitting in that bad mood of whatever's happened. You will smash that session, one step closer to your goal, and you will leave the gym feeling 10 times better. So don't be reactive. I spoke about this with my guys on the team call yesterday. Stop being reactive. Stop thinking, oh, this has happened, so I'm not gonna do this. This has happened, so I'm gonna do this. Eat this, drink this, sleep in, be lazy. Start getting the things that you know you are gonna get benefit from. Get them done regardless, no matter what, unless you are ill. Get them done. You will feel as a whole 10 times better, and you will then look back and think, right, I've actually moved forward because I've just kept my head down and get cracking on. That is ridiculously important. So the natty challenge for this is on. I've been saying any natties who can beat this, I want to see it, because fair play. This is just the set I've been doing. This is third in on pull day. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the top, and then we've got 2.5 and a 10, so 12.5 on the middle pin. We are loading that length and range, driving through. I'm not just trying to move as much load as possible. You'll see that by the form. So if you can beat this, respect to you. I genuinely want to see it. So tag me if you can do it. If you think somebody can do it, let me know and let's see. So we're going to have a pause in the length range. Again, doesn't count from just banging through this. I'm actually doing it as an effective working set. So controlled, eccentric will say a 2 count, little pause in that lengthened, driving through nice and smooth and contracting hard and holding that. So if anyone can beat this, let's see. But this is my first time over what? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. First time over 6th place. So let's get it. Heavy, boys, and that was 6 just. So if you can beat that, fair play. Upper back off that one set, toast. Make sure you think about that. Little pause in that lengthen that out, retract as them upper arms come back, hold that, and then come down, and that will keep every rep standardized as well. Let's go. Lats time, boys. So you've seen me do a lat pull down. We've now got a lat row. So you'll see when I come in here, my rib cage will not move. All I'm thinking about doing is letting that elbow drop down. As soon as I've got these, that will get that tension on my lats. I'm then dragging that elbow as low as I can, contracting, keeping that elbow low as I come out. Lats will be smoked. If you have got a lat row, keep that elbow low, keep them upper arms tucked in, and you'll smoke them. And that's what you'll see me doing now. And then we got a bit of boring rear delts that we'll get straight into. And then we've got buys that I need to nail. So still on it, boys. Let's go. Right, boys, on to buys now. So 3 sets of this and 2 sets with the dumbbells. I'll show you both. One, obviously here, arm in front, one, arm slightly behind. The key is the control and the composure. Again, pause in that stretch, pause in that contraction, take it all the way there. That is all with your bicep work that I want you to think about. Think about that, your arms will grow. I promise you, take it from someone who has struggled to grow their arms. Control every single inch, and that will pay off. Right boys, that is pull box, very good session. Just got 15 posts now, nothing crazy, just to keep cardiovascular in a good spot, not let things get too sloppy. So in terms of, like I was saying, when to swap out a movement, first thing that we need to look at is, what is form like, right? If something stalls, but form is terrible, we need to work on form first. So you might need to bring that load down, or just stay on the same load and re-standardize. Because then, say you've been bouncing through a press, you actually get control of it. It's not the movement you need to swap if you're just gonna go and bounce through another press. You need to get control of that and then kick on from there. And that will make a huge difference. So re-standardize when it is needed. That is the first thing, number one thing to get locked in with there. So don't just throw something out straight away. Re-standardize when it's needed. There's nothing wrong with pulling 5 kilo off, getting form perfect, control of every inch, and then moving up from there. That is very much doable. The next thing is, you might need a deload. Is a number of things stalling. Don't then think you need to swap everything. You might genuinely just need a deload. You might need time to completely freshen up, completely reset, and then drive on again. So re-standardize, get form on point, then do you need a deload? They're the things I'd look at. As a whole as well, are you doing too much volume? Do you need to actually bring that down? These are all things to consider. And then, once you've re-standardized, once you've genuinely ran with something for months, like I've had them stiff legs, it was before Christmas, so it's a long time ago now, and I've ran them, and now they've literally stalled. 3 weeks on the spin, if form is good, and you're in a gaining phase, that's when I'd look to swap something out, like I've done there. It will also matter what phase you're in. I'll get off this cardio first, and then I'll explain that to you. I thought you might get sick of the sound of the treadmill voice, so I jumped off there. But like I was saying, depends what phase you're in. Like if you're in a diet phase, you've got to expect, so body weight's down, stability in your presses, in all your big movements is down. There's gonna be a point where that does come down. Again, doesn't mean you have to switch things around. Don't lose reps on your press for the first time, have a paddy and want to change it. You don't need to, right? That's another big thing. Also as well, like you have 1 week where sleep wasn't the best, pre-workout nutrition wasn't great, you usually train in the morning, you train last thing at night and you're not quite used to it, like all of those things. So don't be quick to do that. Like with coaching, right? We program the sessions. When everything is nailed, you shouldn't need to change anything for a good amount of time. But what you do is get better and better and better at the movements. Learn how to get more out of them. Adjust form, adjust tempo, rinse them. And that's when you will enjoy training. That's why we have the Thursday call. That's why we do form analysis. That's why we go through everything, because it makes a huge difference with your training. So that all plays a big role. Like with me now, again, the reason I've not switched that out, I have switched that out. I've been pushing up, so food's high. So, you know, when everything else is flying up and one thing in particular is stalling, and I've, you know, don't get me wrong, I've progressed that up and up and up and up and up, you know, over 200 kilos. So then it's time to switch. When I know I've had 3 weeks on the spin and I've not progressed, then it's time to switch out when it just feels terrible. So take that into consideration, boys. The longer you, like that extreme row, I've had that in for probably close to a year, right? So I'm in such a groove with it. I can get so much out of it. That is what you want, and that is what you will enjoy. That is not boring, because I've progressed every week on that, and I still am, and I love it, and now it's a challenge. So lock in with that. I am sweating so much, so I am going to drive home, boys. But that was a fantastic session. Any comments, any questions with the session itself or training in general, fire them down below, boys, and I get back to you. And whilst you're at it, if you've watched this far, please drop me a like, boys. I appreciate it. Please subscribe. We need to get to that 2K subscribers, boys. Come on. The vids have been every single week. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed, drop me a subscription. It makes the world a difference, and I can keep banging these out. So shout out if you have. Right, fellas, I just finished editing this video that you've just watched. Anything else you want to see, especially with training as well? That was obviously just full pull session. Anything with training, let me know. Any questions with that session specifically, let me know. Coaching, link as always, is in the description. So go, fill out the form. I'll be in touch. Make sure you subscribed if you watch this far. Make sure you like.
if you watch this far, and I'll see you in the next one.